Forget The Devil Wears Prada. Forget Sex and the City. Clueless is the greatest fashion movie ever made. And most people completely miss why. The impact of Clueless on the fashion landscape and zeitgeist at the time cannot be understated. Not only can this impact be felt around the 90s when the film was first released, but it created a time capsule of 90s culture. Not only can this impact be felt around the 90s when the film was first released, but it created a time capsule of 90s culture, showcasing the best of its music and fashion by creating a great way to view the teen culture at the time before social media. It featured a lot of popular slang, huge mobile phones, and the quintessential high school hierarchy. Hello and welcome, my name is Ileana and this is Fashion on Film, the channel where we talk all things fashion and TV shows and movies. So today we're going to be talking about why Clueless is, in my opinion, the best fashion movie ever made, and this is going to be part 1 in my little Clueless series. We're also going to be taking a deep dive into Dion, Cher's, and Ty's personal style in the videos to come, so be sure to check them out if you're interested. Clueless first released in 1995 and centers around Cher and her best friend Dion, who attend what seems to be a high school catering primarily to children from rich families. We see them navigating their daily lives and personal struggles around school, relationships, and friendships. And they're like any normal teenagers, except in all the ways which they're not. When we are first introduced to Cher at the beginning of the movie, we see her getting ready for a normal day of school. We see her brushing her beautiful hair, applying her perfect makeup, and of course, getting dressed. Now, what's different about Cher than our average 90s teen protagonist is we don't see flipping manically through her wardrobe in search of something to wear. No, Cher possesses something that most of us do not have. We see her using a type of computer designed to help her find her best possible outfit. Now, this computer seems to contain images of each of her pieces of clothing and is programmed to know what matches and what does not. Not only does it do this, but it also shows what it would look like on Cher's body. Now, this does not only instantly set her apart from most people by highlighting her wealth to the audience, but it creates an interest from the side of the audience who could only aspire to have this much clothing. Nevertheless, this type of technology. Because we have to remember, in the 90s, technology is not what it is today. This little closet computer just represented how revolutionary and groundbreaking this film was at the time in the fashion space. It showcased how fashion and technology could potentially work together in unison in the future and even be implemented into our very own homes, which it very accurately predicted. I mean, nowadays we have access to countless apps that can track the contents of our closet and essentially do the same thing that this computer is shown to do. Now, what we see her choosing as her outfit in this first scene is the iconic yellow Dolce & Gabbana suit. By this look being chosen as the first look we see her in and featuring prominently on film posters, it has cemented its way into film history by becoming synonymous not only with Cher, but with Clueless itself. It's important that we note the influence of grunge music around the time on fashion in 1995, when this movie was filmed. And that heavily inspired the suit. We see her wearing this Dolce & Gabbana skirt, matching jacket, Mary Jane shoes, white knee-high socks, white t-shirt, and a yellow cardigan. The look is a nod to the traditional schoolgirl's uniform, but in an elevated and chic way, while still paying a subtle homage to the grunge influences from music inspired by Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. Now, what's interesting is that this look was almost an entirely different color. They had options of the same suit in a red plaid and a blue plaid as well, but ultimately they felt that the yellow best complemented Alicia Silverstone's natural complexion and blonde hair. It is very important that we recognize the importance of fashion selection as a means of communicating identity for high schoolers. Fashion choices help them to fit in with their peers, exhibit their own unique personalities, while simultaneously acting as a means of self-expression. And plaid kind of acts as a means of herd identity throughout the film. While plaid was mainly associated with the more masculine grunge styles of the 90s, it manages to bridge the gap with Cher and Dion's more preppy and upper-class expressions of style. Plaid can be found in almost every character's outfits at various times throughout the film. And the film famously featured 53 different plaid patterns throughout. This helps to cement Clueless's fashion in the cultural zeitgeist of the time. Cher is often seen wearing different iterations of the schoolgirl-inspired plaid cohort sets. She literally manages to create a style uniform that she sports to class, often consisting of knee-high socks, Mary Janes, a plaid miniskirt, and a matching plaid jacket. Now, she does stray away from this at times because she likes to have fun with fashion and experimenting with different looks. The style draws heavily from 90s preppy fashion and 90s minimalist trends popular at the time. Now, the white Calvin Klein dress is a perfect example of her love for 90s minimalist fashion. This is the dress she wears to the frat party on her first date with Christian, and is also the moment where we first see Josh falling in love with her. Now, the minimal details shine a light on her natural beauty, and is in stark contrast to the dress that she wears on her next date with Christian when she's trying to seduce him. Which, yes, this other dress does look beautiful, but it does not look as natural and carefree on her as this white minimalist Calvin Klein dress. Now, what they do in this movie with the Calvin Klein dress is they once again name the designer outright, which they only do a few times in the movie, including the very infamous Aliyah dress, which we're still gonna get to. Calvin Klein was synonymous with 90s minimalist fashion. His designs featured lots of simple, clean lines that still carry through in their designs to this day. Now, Mona May was the costume designer for this movie. Now, you may have heard her name before because she was also infamously the costume designer for Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, as well as Never Been Kissed. And what she said is that part of the appeal in Clueless is the number of outfit changes throughout the movie. Now, an average film has about 25 outfit changes per character. In Clueless, we have Cher going in at 60 outfit changes, Dion having a full 45, and even Ty having 30 costume changes throughout, which is massive. Like, the amount of clothing, the amount of outfits they designed is insane. Now, Mona talked about her costume design process in the following way. First, she made a mood board for all of the characters. Now, Cher's character is more put together, which led to more tailored pieces. Dion has more experience with boys, so her outfits were a little bit sexier. Her hemlines were a little bit shorter and overall a bit more risque. Whereas Ty's wardrobe reflects her journey to finding herself throughout the film. She starts out very grunge and true to herself, and over the course of the film she adopts Cher's style more and more in an effort to become her. Whereas at the end we see her reverting back to those grunge influences, and she has a skateboard and she has her skateboarding boyfriend, which all represent her own interests and personality. Now, Mona wanted to create a wardrobe separate from the mainstream teen style at the time, which was very grunge inspired. Teen girls were often wearing baggy pants, baggy shirts, and overall more gender neutral clothing. But Mona wanted to lean into the idea of what a teen girl would dress like if money was no object. Now, the girls in the movie are probably so rich that they could go to runway shows both in America and in Europe and buy whatever they wanted. So the overall style for the film echoed runway fashion, but filtered through the lens of high school. She made sure to implement a high-low approach to the characters' outfits, which means she mixed designer pieces with thrifted and vintage items as well, which was not done much in the 90s as it is done today. But this helped to create a unique personal style for each one of the characters. Now we need to talk about the red Aliyah dress, because this dress is absolutely iconic, and this scene in the film is also absolutely iconic. So after the Valley party, Cher ends up getting robbed and is forced to get on the ground in this red Aliyah dress, leading to the absolute iconic line where she says that she cannot get on the ground because this is an Aliyah who is a, and I quote, totally important designer. Now, what is so interesting about this in retrospect is that Aliyah was not a household name at this point in America. Firstly, it shows us Cher's absolute love for fashion and his style know-how, that she even knows about this designer and has such a deep appreciation for this outfit, even though they were not as popular at the time as they are today. Secondly, it shows us how this film was able to catapult this designer's status through this scene and transform them into a household name. And all of these factors lead to why I think Clueless is the best fashion movie at this time. I think the biggest thing is the nostalgia factor. The 90s was a time of absolute creative expression, whereas In contrast, today in the social media landscape, we're basically living in an echo chamber. We're each copying each other's looks, getting inspired from the same sources, and end up not creating anything new. That's why I think we haven't really had films that have come out in recent years to top the status of Clueless or Mean Girls or Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion or even Devil Wears Prada. And the last 10 years, nothing has really risen to that level in the fashion landscape. Any movies that do come out with good design costumes are often referencing these very iconic 90s and early 2000s looks. And that's why I think the impact of Clueless on the current fashion landscape and the zeitgeist cannot be ignored. But that being said, I'm also very excited to see when and what will rise to the top to take the place of Clueless at some point in the future. Now, if you're interested in analysis of more outfits, please check out the second part where I'm going to be analyzing Dion's looks, which are often completely overlooked in the discussion of Clueless, which is very sad because she is a very fashionable queen. Part 3, we're going to be diving into Cher's outfit, and part 4, where we're going to be checking out Ty's looks. With that being said, I will see you soon. Bye!